Hi, Stampers! It's Kelly Rose here. I am so excited to share with you some Christmas cards tonight, and I'm not using poinsettia petals. If you've seen my recent videos, then you know that that's kind of what I've been hooked on. I'm going to be using Joyful Holly. So if you are joining me live, then I'd love for you to say hello, how's it going, and chat with me while I'm crafting. So I'm going to be doing my cards on note cards, except for my last step up version. And note cards are a really great way to go with especially beginning stampers, because in the packet you get, I think it's 20. Where's the quantity? Yeah, 20 card bases and 20 envelopes. And they're a little bit smaller than the traditional 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock cut in half to create a card. But they come with matching envelopes for the right size, and they're really fun to work with. I will often grab them if I'm just wanting to get a quick card done. So they have a really nice surface that is lovely for stamping on. All right, so let me go ahead and clear my space and get started here. So I have this grid paper that I got for going to the on-stage event with Stampin' Up! This week, and it was fabulous. I had such a good time. I learned lots and can't wait to share the great things that I learned with you. So let's go ahead and get started. So I have here a note card base, and I'm going to be stamping on that with black. So I'm using the Memento Tuxedo Black. Because these stamps are photopolymer, I'm going to be using the foam mat underneath my grid paper. So let's get that inked up. And hey, if you're joining me live, I'd love for you to say hello. Let me know you're there with me. And let's chat. Oh, look. Got black on there already. All right, so decision-making time. Do I want to try to stamp on top of that and hide it, or do I want to start over? I think I vote for trying to stamp on top of it and hide it. All right. Any of you ever do that? Get a smudge before you even begin? And then I'm going to take the other image, which is slightly smaller, and put that around the top. My greeting will go in the center, and I'm going to use a T ruler to line up my greeting because I have trouble getting things straight on here. So, hi, Amy. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're joining me. What's up? Hi, Gloria. Thanks for joining. All right, so this says a joyful Christmas to you. So Gloria makes tons and tons of cards for our church card ministry. So maybe this will be a card you can use, a card layout idea. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate how to do the two-step stamping. This is a two-step stamp, and so I have chosen to stamp the leaves with shaded spruce. You're going to love the way this works out. And my shaded, I miss you too, Amy. So I was listening to my Christmas music this afternoon and really thinking about you, of course. And knowing how you would really laugh at the way I have to always sing harmony now. All right, so just taking my time, making sure that that's lined up. But it's fairly easy to do with these photopolymer stamp sets. Voila. Oops, I don't need that inked up again. I need the other one, the other guy. I really should re-ink that, but pouncing it 10 or 15 times seems to work, so I'll stick with that method now. If you are joining me live, I'd love for you to say hello. Ta-da! Okay, now for the berries. So I was absolutely fascinated when I discovered that even though there's two images and there's berries all over, there's one stamp for the berries. Isn't that cool the way they designed that? And I also love the way the berries have a little shine on them. That little bit of white space just makes them look like they're sparkling. There. And there. And there. Hi, Sue. Thanks for joining. So lovely to have your company tonight. And that is it. Now, of course, we would want to stamp the envelope. And so let me see. Let's go ahead and do that. Everybody needs to see the envelope decorated, right? And probably the inside too. So let me grab this with the tuxedo black. And just a little flourish on the side there. And then you can, it looks really pretty black. As a matter of fact, you might want to leave it black for the envelope, and then they get the surprise of the color on the inside. So that is our first card done. So that would be pretty easy to reproduce, don't you think, if you were making a bunch of those, especially like maybe for people in the office or people you were giving gift cards to. Hi, Lori. Thanks for joining me. All right, so that is card number 1. For card number 2, I am going to be coloring. So I'm going to close up these ink pads. And do I need to clean anything? No, because I'm sticking with black. Okay, so this piece of paper that I have right here is 3 by 4.5. And then I am going to be layering that on a piece of 3 1/8 by 4 5/8. So we'll save that for later and get started on our stamping. So once again, I am going to stamp the outlines in black. Now my third card is not going to be in black. I'm going to really switch up the colors and use some non-traditional Christmas colors. But for these first 2 cards, I am sticking to the green and red. So Lori, are you stamping with me? All right. And then because my greeting is going to take a little more space on this card, I'm going to give myself a little more space there as well. Okay, so I have a little bit of time now where I'm going to not be using those. So I'm going to go ahead and clean them off so that ink doesn't dry on there. And so I don't touch it and then transfer black ink to my projects. And how about red as well? All right, so I have chosen the Shaded Spruce blends and the Pool Party blends and the Cherry Cobbler blends. So this is actually a really simple way to use your alcohol markers. I'm just going to start by lining the inside of each leaf. So this is kind of like a beginner move for coloring. I'm really not all that good at coloring with blends, but they're so forgiving. And by just adding color, I mean, you really just can add color and blend the inks together until you get the look you're wanting. So I promise I will get in a groove here, and this will not be as painstakingly slow to watch. But this turns out really pretty. And if you see that I'm missing a little bit on the edge, don't worry, that I can, when I come back in, I will be filling in with that. Oh, me too, Sue. So, Sue, are you a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator? And Lori, what are you eating? We haven't had dinner yet tonight. Although I think I heard Sean eating his leftovers. We went to Longhorn for lunch, and we both brought home a lot of our lunch because we kind of filled up on bread and salad. Which is nice for me to not have to cook. So, Amy, if you're still there, you'll be pleased to know that Jackson is currently on his way home from a retreat. He loves going on retreats with his youth group. And of course, that thrills me. My first boy was not quite as outgoing as Jackson is. So I'm super excited. See, even that just looks pretty, doesn't it? All right, so now I'm going to come back in with the shaded spruce, the light, and I'm going to really color on top of that line and then just lightly fill in the rest. So by really just kind of giving it a good scrubbing, so to speak, it helps blend the inks. Like that. I could zoom in a little bit so you can see the coloring a little better. But then I have to remember to keep it still. Hello, Carolyn from Vegas. Thanks for joining. Lovely to have your company. Are you a stamper? I don't know about you guys who use blends, but I actually love the squeak of them. I don't know why. It's so weird. Now, I will have to say, though, if you're using the brush tip end, you don't really want to rub hard enough to be making them squeak. That will destroy your brush ends. So where I'm going back over, I don't know if you can see it or not, is where the outline that I did is just looking rather stark, like very liney. So the more I go over it, the more I scrub it, so to speak, the more they blend. There. So if you see anything that you like tonight on the video, then anything at all, just even one little thing, Would you give me a thumbs up, because that is really helpful to me. And they are free. They cost you nothing. So thank you for giving me a thumbs up. You can even do it now. And if you are anything that you see that I'm doing, you can send out hearts and likes at any point. Oh, I don't mind. Oh, wow, Carolyn, that is a long time. How very cool. All right, so now I'm taking the Pool Party Dark and coming along the edge. So what I started to say was my comments are not scrolling up. So if I seem to not be recognizing that you're speaking to me, it's because I have to physically move the comments up for some reason tonight. Things are always kind of changing for me with Facebook. Doesn't that look nice? That little bit of shadowing around the edge. And then I'll come back in with the light Pool Party. Just kind of blend that out a little bit. Or leave it just like that. As a matter of fact, maybe I'll just leave it like that and let you guys see the difference. Or let you tell me if you want to see how I do the extended layer. Now this one, this is just me, because I just don't have a lot of time in my life. This is not one that I would reproduce over and over. That first one would be really easy to reproduce, especially with the Stamparatus. This one, not so much. But it would be one that I would love to send to someone, a very, very special friend. Whoosh, I'm going to need a break and a drink of my tea in a moment here. This is taking a lot of concentration, doing this on film. Hey, Pamela, thanks for sharing out. Yeah, any of you who would be willing to share this out on your page or with friends in Messenger to a friend, if you invite your friends to come watch, then you guys can chit chat while you're watching me do all the work. I definitely appreciate you doing that, Pam. All right, there we go. What do you think so far? It's pretty, huh? All righty. My wrist is a little sore. So let me show you the extended version. So what do you think? So there's I did the layer of light as well. Not a whole lot of difference. Just definitely adds in more Pool Party. Okay, so I'm going to finish this up in a slightly different way than what I just showed you. I am going to use punches for this one. So yes, this is a stepped up version, but not crazy over the top. So I do want to go ahead and glue this down and then get my greeting. Now, you can see why I did, and you want to do this on a separate layer because you are going to have that kind of bleed through. So you don't really want to do the blends on the layer that's going to show on your top layer, the bottom layer, I guess. Okay, so with this, I'm going to stamp a little piece of black. And then my greeting will go, I will stamp on a little piece of white in black. And I love punching out my greetings because I don't have to make sure that they are straight. That is a bonus. So using the other punch, these two punches coordinate with each other. So I turn my punch upside down and then just hold on to my paper until I get it looking straight and in the middle where I want it, if I want it in the middle. And then I'm just kind of squeezing down a little bit and then punching it out. So this is the Label Me Fancy punch. And my ribbon. So this is the Real Red sheer ribbon that I believe is in the holiday catalog. So I'm just going to take a little piece like this and grab my ribbon scissors. Thank you, Sue. And put down a little bit of my Stampin' Seal. So I have a place to lay down my ribbon. There. And I'm going to pop the whole thing up on dimensionals. So this one, I'm just going to glue on straight, flat, and then grab my dimensionals to pop that up. And then that is ready for the card base. And the second card is done. I love creating with punches. It makes things go so smoothly. And punches, you don't need the big shot for. All right, so my card base is here. And I could definitely pop that up on more dimensionals, but I think for now I'm just going to use some seal. Right, if you guys have any questions as I go, feel free to ask. Any questions about any of the products? Stampin' Up. So Sue and Pam and Carolyn, you're a demonstrator for over 31 years? Did I ask if you were a demonstrator or if you were a stamper? Okay, so there is the second one. So, little stepped up version. And wait, so what I was going to ask you is, did you guys attend the onstage this week? And what did you think of it? Because I thought it was wonderful. I absolutely loved it. Okay, the third one is going to be completely different. So I'm going to start with a piece of Pool Party that is cut to the same size as my white. And I think I actually need to cut that. I thought I had prepped it, but now I can't find it, which is pretty typical for me. Losing something as I start. So I need a piece of Pool Party. Oh, there it is. Under my computer. The little piece that I need is probably under my computer too. Oh, I think it is. There it is. 3 and 4.5. Yep, there it was. Yay. Standing up, I spotted it. Yes, I had so much fun. All right, so I'm going to start with crumb cake. So I'm going to be doing the same layout, but with different colors. I'm so excited to show you this one. Were you guys able to watch it with a group of people? I had one of my downline with me in the living room. We had our table set up. It was so fun. Hi, Peg. Thanks for joining. Lovely to have you. So for those of you who are not aware, on stage is a like the annual convention of Stampin' Up! Demonstrators, and where we get to be introduced to new products and new stamp sets and watch fabulous stampers and get great business tips. They do such a great job with their events, and I need to clean these off. And even in this current situation where we had to do it from home, I thought it was so well done. And I'm very happy that we have access to all the videos until January. Oh, good. I'm glad you got to do it with someone. That makes it fun. All right, there we go. All right, so this next thing is super fun. So I am using, so that was Pool Party is my base, and then I stamped in Crumb Cake. This is Bermuda Bay, and this is not Night of Navy, and this is Mossy Meadow. And I'm going to be using all three of those colors on those leaves. So I don't know if, I probably need to zoom back out so you can see what I'm doing here. And I am going to be using sponges, these little sponge daubers. Make sure those are the right colors. Yep, that is definitely Night of Navy and Mossy Meadow. All right, so I'll first be inking up with Bermuda Bay, and now I'm putting my sponge dauber in the corner of the Mossy Meadow, and the Mossy Meadow is going to go on the tips. And then before I dip back into my Mossy Meadow, I'll just kind of wipe off any Bermuda Bay that I might have there. So again, this is just going on the tips of my holly leaves. And the Night of Navy is going to go on the stem end. Okay, wait till you see this. So beautiful. Give me a moment to line it up. And then just give it a moment to soak into the paper. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I love it. Okay, let's do the next one. So picking up with Bermuda Bay, and then using my sponge dauber for the tips in Mossy Meadow. Get a little more on there. And then the stem ends with the Night of Navy. There. What do you think of all that color on there? All right, done with these. And now I'm going to add a little grunge. So, Amy, it's very appropriate that you were able to join us tonight because this is Amy's favorite, grungy. All right, so I'm first going to add some spots with my marker. So, like I said, this is the stepped up version. So I'm just sticking my brush end into the lid and flicking some color on there. Let those dry. And then I've got my brush, and so this is very exciting that Stampin' Up! Has decided to sell these brushes. So in our next mini catalog, you'll be able to buy a set of these fabulous brushes. They'll be larger than this one that I'm using. At first I thought, it seemed kind of expensive, but then when I realized what I was paying for the large makeup brushes, to get 3, and they are washable. Like, you don't have to have one for every color. Definitely, the color does come out of them quite nicely, actually. So I'm just adding a little crumb cake around the edges with my brush. There we go. And now I'm going to be adding some Frost White shimmer paint. And shake this up, and I'm going to be applying this, again, splattering it with just a paintbrush. Get these out of the way. So I'm just going to dip in there and then shake that all over. Kind of like snow. There. Can you see that? Let me go in. Let me get a good look at that. Pretty pretty. All right, so I just need to wash my brush out with water. And set that aside to dry. I will be working on my card base. So my card base will be Pool Party also. And I'm going to be using that favorite plaid paper. I can't get enough of that plaid paper. And I need a piece of crumb cake that is 3 1/8. Yes, that looks like 3 1/8. So I need to trim that down to 4 5/8. And oops. Oh, I'm so glad that didn't open when it fell. I'm going to trim this to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so it's going to cover the entire card front. And we'll do the edges as well of these pieces with the crumb cake. You guys have gone quiet on me. Still there? So as I said, this is a very non-traditional Christmas card. Has a nice country feel, I think, to it. Oh, good. I'm glad you're still there. So, Amy, have you come up with a date for us? A date for us to craft and Zoom? I know you guys were just mesmerized by my stamping, right? That's why you got quiet. Alrighty. I will be using my liquid glue for this because I want a little bit of wiggle room for getting this into position. I want to go close to the edge, but not too close because this will squish out. This glue will definitely squish out the sides. Pretty good, pretty good. So, Amy, I picked a good night then to do all of my edges, didn't I? Cool. Good. Let's do it sooner rather than later. Alrighty, so this gets layered up on here, and then I'll work on my grading. Let's see, are those dry? I don't think they're quite dry, but I'm going to carefully glue this on, and then I'll work on my grading. Hopefully they'll be dry by the time I'm done with my grading. If not, then I will attack it with the heat tool. Oops, TV went off. I think that Sean left to go get Jackie. Yay, I missed him. So what do you think? What do you think so far? Are you liking the country Christmas card? All right, so I'm going to be stamping my greeting using the same one. Very similar layout and stamping it on crumb cake. And then I'll be cutting it out with the stitched shapes. I'm using one of the ovals. So I grabbed yet another ink. Sorry about all the inks I'm using this time. But I grabbed soft suede. I'm stamping on crumb cake. Now, if I had been thinking about it, I would have stamped it on this piece right here and then cut it out of there to save a little, but I wasn't thinking. I apologize. All done with the soft suede. All right, so here are the dies I'm going to use. The Stitch Shapes Framelits is what the oval comes from, and then the Layering Ovals Framelit dies. So I have the magnetic plate here, which has warped. And if any of you ladies watching has a tip for the warping of the magnetic plate, this is a brand new product, and I haven't investigated yet or given them a call. I hope I didn't stamp that too low. I may need to restamp that. I don't know. But mine's pretty warped, as you can see. Now, it still works. It still works well. Like, I can definitely, you can feel that it grabs the paper and holds it in place, but it's not going to grab that big old piece sticking out. All right, so this is ready for the big shot, or sorry, I called it Big Shot. It's the cut and emboss machine. Thanks, Sue. We made 3 projects that they planned. There was another, the stamp set that they sent us, like this seed pod collection. I had the other supplies, and so I made that one just on my own. But there were 3 that they had us prep for. If you bought the extra supplies for that, which I did. All right, so let's get a little color on here. Let's see if I have some left on my brush. See if I have to open that. I think I have enough, if that looks good. And of course, let's get all the pieces. So this is the Pretty Peacock, which is the coordinating color for that plaid paper. So I'll stamp and seal on here. And then I will be putting this up on dimensionals. So I'm going to go ahead and add those now, if I can find them. Don't know where the first pile went. So this is going to be straddling some ribbons. So I'm just going to do 2 up here, close to the edge, and 2 down here. Yeah, I was wondering if some heat would work. If anybody's tried heat. Oops, wasn't quite ready for that. Okay. Concentrate on what you are doing. I need the ribbon. So this is last year's in color ribbons. I think you can still get this though. And that's going to wrap around there like that. And I'm going to hold it down with some stamp and seal. Just need that to be still while I tie it up with some linen thread. That. And I'm looking for my linen thread now. This is one of my favorite things to do. Tie up ribbon with different ribbon. And I'm going to cheat and tie that into a knot so it stays nice and tight. And then tie my bow. All right. I want to lift this up with dimensionals, or actually maybe I'll just grab a piece of cardboard. So Lori, have you uploaded that picture that you put on RoseyScrapper Stampers to Split Coast Stampers? So that reminds me, I might as well let all of you guys know. Split Coast Stampers, if you know what that is, you should check it out because it's great. It's a great resource for getting card ideas. They asked me to do a video tutorial on my one background, 4 cards that I did with the poinsettia petals. And I don't want it to go that way. But I wasn't concentrating. I didn't get that right when I did it, so maybe I'll just have to stick with it that way. All right. Anyway, they asked me to do a tutorial for their Holiday festival, and Lori did a great card using the same technique. And if you guys aren't yet a part of RoseyScrapper Stampers, I would love for you to join that. And if I have inspired you in any way, share your creations that were inspired by one of my videos or something you've seen on my channel. That would be greatly appreciated. And so we can all ooh and ah over it. And so there's our greeting. So once again, the same layout with a completely different look. So let me grab the other 2 cards and you guys can tell me which ones were your favorites. There we are. So our simple stamping, and then stepped up just a bit with the blends, and then just kind of using all of the things for this last one. Okay, which one do you guys like best? 1, 2, or 3? Alrighty. That is all I have for tonight. Gloria says 3. The stepped up country version. I think that is my favorite too, but I really like this one in the middle too. I like the coloring. And hey, Pat, I didn't know you were there. So glad you were able to join. And so Pat likes this one. So I said they're in opposite direction, right? 1, 2, 3. So again, that was with the Joyful Holly stamp set, which is in the holiday catalog. 2. So you think that I should do this one, a distressed version? Is that what you're saying? Stick with the white. Okay. So I just love the way the variation of color turns out on those leaves. That's my favorite part. But this card with the black and white and red is very striking. All right, you guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight. It was really great to have your company. And if you have any questions or want to place an order, if the link to RoseyScrapper.com is in the description of the video, and the November host code is up. So make sure to use that if you are placing an order under 150, because at 150 you get your own rewards. All right, thanks again. Great to have you. And I gave up on, oh, really? Oh, that's too bad. Yeah. I hope that I don't feel that way. I hope that they figure something out, because that would be a bummer to not have that magnetic plate. All right, so great to have you. And until later, if I don't make it back in the week, then I'll see you next Sunday at 5 again. Bye.